Okay, I am right back, and it's Numbers 22. This is its own topic as well, so I've combined all these chapters into this video here. And I guess I'll read it and then I'll explain it like I usually do. So, okay, I might not read every little thing, but okay, 22. This is the whole situation with Balak and Balaam. And there's a lot of confusion with this, so I really wanted to iron that out. Okay, so then the children of Israel moved and camped in the plains of Moab on the side of the Jordan across from Jericho. Now, Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. So the word is starting to spread, okay? And Moab was exceedingly afraid of the people because they were many, and Moab was sick with dread because of the children of Israel. So Moab said to the elders of Midian, and they weren't even, Moab was they weren't going to do anything here. Anyway, it wasn't given to them, so that was it. Okay, to the elders of Midian, now this company will lick up everything around us, as an ox licks up the grass of the field. And Balak, the son of Zippor, was king of the Moabites at that time. So Balak is the king of the Moabites, okay? So he's worried about his land, okay? Then he sent messengers to Balaam, the son of Beor, at Pethor, which is near the river in the land of the sons of his people, to call him, saying, Look, a people has come from Egypt. See, they cover the face of the earth and are settling next to me. Therefore, please come at once, curse this people for me, for they are too mighty for me. Perhaps I shall be able to defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I know that he whom you bless is blessed, and he whom you curse is cursed. So he calls this prophet Balaam to come and do this. And Balak, does this. And his goal is to curse the people of Israel. Okay, that's his goal. That's his heart's intention. He stated it right there himself. Okay, Balak, does this, and Balaam is the prophet who he calls. Okay, so the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the diviner's fee in their hand, and they came to Balaam and spoke to him the words of Balak. Even the names can get funny, right, and confusing. Like who's who, And he said to them, Lodge here tonight, and I will bring back word to you, as the Lord speaks to me. So the princes of Moab stayed with Balaam. Okay, so Balak sends out this little convoy of princes to Balaam to see if he'll come with them to Balak to curse these people. That's what he wants, okay? And he doesn't know yet. So then God spoke to Balaam and said, Who are these men with you? So Balaam said to God, Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent to me, saying, Look, a people has come out of Egypt, and they cover the face of the earth. Come now, curse them for me. Perhaps I shall be able to overpower them and drive them out. So Balaam doesn't know what the intention is of God. He's just going along for the ride, But he says he's going to find out. He wants to know, right? Anyway, and God said to Balaam, You shall not go with them. They shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. Okay, so here we see God's will, right? We see the intention here. Like, there's no point in going with Balak because you're not going to curse them because he's already blessed them. So that's a contradiction. We can't even, it's not going to go anywhere. So Balaam rose in the morning and said to the princes of Balak, so he knows now, and he tells them, go back to your land, for the Lord has refused to give me permission to go with you. Okay, so now so far, so good. Okay, Balaam hasn't done anything wrong yet. And the princes of Moab rose and went to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. Then Balak again sent princes more numerous and more honorable than they. And they came to Balaam and said to him, thus says Balak, the son of Zippor, please let nothing hinder you from coming to me, for I will certainly honor you greatly. Hint, hint, right? And I will do whatever you say to me. Therefore, please come, curse this people for me. So his intention is clear again, right? Then Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, though Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. Now, therefore, please, you also stay here tonight, that I may know what more the Lord will say to me. So all along, it looks okay. It looks like his intentions are good. We don't know what's in his heart. So far, we don't know, right? And he's always saying, like, I can only say what God told me to say. I can't say anything that contradicts that. I can't say more or less. He says this to Balak over and over again, and Balak doesn't want, he just plugs his ears to that. He doesn't want to hear that. And we'll see that as the story goes on. But already, here, I don't know, he's already starting to, well, maybe God changed his mind. I don't know. Anyway, and God came to Balaam at night and said to him, if the men come to call you, rise and go with them, but only the word. So I think he's being tested or something, but anyway, but only the word which I speak to you, that you shall do. So Balaam rose in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the princes of Moab. And I think this was a little test already, and he failed it, but he messes up later for sure, but it's not as obvious yet. But here we go. Now we get this, and I know they're going to be the critics, but whatever. Okay, then God's anger was aroused because he went. See, so, okay. And the angel of the Lord took his stand in the way as an adversary against him. And now it starts to get funny. So you'll see. And he was riding on his donkey, and his two servants were with him. Now the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, with his drawn sword in his hand, and the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. So Balaam, so he was just trying to get them out of the way, right? So Balaam, who doesn't know this, so Balaam struck the donkey to turn her back onto the road, right? Because he's eager to get over there. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between the vineyards. So he must have turned into one of the side paths of a vineyard, between the rows of the vines that are on those, I forgot what they call that, where they kind of fasten the vines to grow along. Anyway, he's in there, right? And it's narrow. Anyway, with a wall on this side and a wall on that side. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she pushed herself against the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he struck her again. Then the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she lay down under Balaam. So she saw, okay, there's no way out to go here. I can't go anywhere. I'm just going to sit down and be put, wait, see what happens here. I'm not going any further. So Balaam's on top of her. She sits down and he's sitting on her. So Balaam's anger was aroused, and he struck the donkey with his staff. So he keeps beating the donkey because he wants to go, right? And he keeps getting all these hindrances. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times?" And Balaam said to the donkey, "Because you have abused me. I wish there were a sword in my hand, for now I would kill you." And it's like, well, that's not very nice, right? I mean, animals can go off course, right? Anyway, so the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey on which you have ridden ever since I became yours to this day? Was I ever disposed to do this to you?" And hey, that's pretty good logic for a donkey, right? And he said, "No." Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. And he bowed his head and fell flat on his face. Like, well, maybe there was a reason the donkey was doing this all of a sudden, right? And the angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you," even he's like, "why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come out to stand against you because your way is perverse before me." So God knew his heart, right? That it was corrupted. And that's what's going on here. He just wants to figure out a way to get there and get the money, "The donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, surely I would also have killed you by now and let her live." I mean, it does get funny. I mean, that saved his life according to this, right? And Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned, for I did not know you." "You stood in the way against me. Now, therefore, if it displeases you, I will turn back." Then the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, "Go with the men, but only the word that I speak to you, that you shall speak." So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. So, okay. Now, when Balak heard that Balaam was coming, he went out to meet him at the city of Moab, which is on the border by the Arnon, the boundary of the territory. Then Balak said to Balaam, "Did I not earnestly send to you, calling for you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not able to honor you?" And Balaam said to Balak, it's like, well, here I am here. Like, "Look, I have come to you. Now have I any power at all to say anything? The word that God puts in my mouth, that I shall speak." So Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kirjath Huzoth. Then Balak offered oxen and sheep, and he sent some to Balaam and to the princes who were with him. Okay, so I mean, so far, we don't see any outward evidence, really, but you'll see. So it was the next day that Balak took Balaam and brought him up to the high places of Baal. All right, red flag right there. That from there he might observe the extent of the people. Okay, 23. Then Balaam said to Balak, "Build 7 altars for me here, and prepare for me here 7 bulls and 7 rams." And Balak did just as Balaam had spoken, and Balak and Balaam offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, "Stand by your burnt offering, and I will go. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet me, and whatever he shows me, I will tell you." So he went to a desolate height, and God met Balaam. And he said to him, "I have prepared the 7 altars, and I have offered on each altar a bull and a ram." Then the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, "Return to Balak, and thus you shall speak." So he returned to him, and there he was, standing by his burnt offering, he and all the princes of Moab. And he took up his oracle and said, "Now before I read this, I just want to mention, I mean, it almost seems like along the way, Balaam is thinking, well, maybe God will change his mind and I can still pronounce a curse and get the treasure from Balak and, go on my merry way. I mean, that's almost what it seems like his intention is. He's so determined. That's why I'm thinking this, but it doesn't say that, so I don't know. Just seems that it's suspicious that way. But okay, Balak the king. So here he goes. Here's his oracle here, and it gets funny. Balak, the king of Moab, has brought me from Aram, from the mountains of the east. Come, curse Jacob for me, and come, denounce Israel. How shall I curse whom God has not cursed? And how shall I denounce whom the Lord has not denounced? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. There a people dwelling alone, not reckoning itself among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob, or number 1/4 of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my end be like his. So this is a blessing, okay? He pronounces a blessing on the camp of Israel. And then Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I took you to curse my enemies, and look, you have blessed them bountifully. So he answered and said, must I not take heed to speak what the Lord has put in my mouth? So, I mean, he's being obedient, and he is saying what God gave him to say. But it's like all the time, you've blessed them instead. I wanted them cursed, And it's like, well, how can he curse what God had blessed? And, he blessed them instead because that's what God wanted him to do. Okay, so then Balak said to him, so he's still trying. He's just trying. Okay, please come with me to another place from which you may see them. You shall see only the outer part of them and shall not see them all. So he's hoping, okay, he won't have mercy on them if he doesn't see most of them, and then he'll be able to do it, Anyway, curse them for me from there. So he brought him to the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. And he said to Balak, stand here by your burnt offering while I meet the Lord over there. Then the Lord met Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said, go back to Balak, and thus you shall speak. So he came to him, and there he was standing by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab were with him. And Balak said to him, what has the Lord spoken? Then he took up his oracle and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Listen to me, son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should relent. Like, do you think he's going to change his mind now, because you want them cursed? I mean, anyway, has he said, and will he not do? Or has he spoken, and will he not make it good? Behold, I have received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He has not observed iniquity in Jacob, nor has he seen wickedness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. God brings them out of Egypt. He has strength like a wild ox. For there is no sorcery against... Okay, before I move on, I mean, there was sin, but it was being atoned for. And the enemies didn't need to know this stuff, right? So, okay. For there is no sorcery against Jacob, nor any divination against Israel. So, you can't use any witchcraft against them if God is protecting them. And that's what this guy wanted to do. See, this line has it right there, sorcery and divination. to curse them, witchcraft to curse them from the occult dark magic. That's it. And you can't do it if God doesn't allow it. It now must be said of Jacob and of Israel, oh, what God has done. Look, a people rises like a lioness and lifts itself up like a lion. It shall not lie down until it devours the prey and drinks the blood of the slain. Then Balak said to Balaam, neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. Like, okay, if you're not going to curse them, but at least don't bless them. So Balaam answered and said to Balak, did I not tell you, saying all that the Lord speaks that I must do? Like, what part of that didn't you understand? Like, what God says tells me to say, I have to say, whatever it is. You may not like it, but that's what it is, Anyway, so he just doesn't get it, this Balak, So far, so good, Okay, then Balak said to Balaam, please come. I will take you to another place. Perhaps it will please God that you should curse them for me from there. I mean, this guy, Oh, okay, from that view, yeah, that's a different story. We can curse them now. I mean, like he's going to change his mind and, oh, yeah, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor that overlooks the wasteland. Then Balaam said to Balak, build for me here 7 altars and prepare for me here 7 bulls and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had said and offered a bull and a ram on every altar. Okay, 24. Now when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he did not go as at other times to seek to use sorcery. See, that's what he had been trying to do. But he set his face toward the wilderness, and Balaam raised his eyes and saw Israel encamped according to their tribes. And the Spirit of God came upon him. Then he took up his oracle and said, the utterance of Balaam, the son of Beor, the utterance of the man whose eyes are opened, the utterance of him who hears the words of God. Who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes wide open. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel, like valleys that stretch out, like gardens by the riverside, like aloes planted by the Lord, like cedars beside the waters. He shall pour water from his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters. His king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brings him out of Egypt. He has strength like a wild ox. He shall consume the nations, his enemies. He shall break their bones and pierce them with his arrows. He bows down, he lies down as a lion, and as a lion he shall rouse him. Who shall rouse him? Blessed is he who blesses you, and cursed is he who curses you. Okay, so I don't think Balak was very happy at this point. Then Balak's anger was aroused against Balaam, and he struck his hands together. And Balak said to Balaam, I mean, again, like, what part of this don't you understand, But Balak, anyway, said to Balaam, I called you to curse my enemies, and look, you have bountifully blessed them these 3 times. Now, therefore, flee to your place. I said I would greatly honor you, but in fact, the Lord has kept you back from honor. Oh my gosh, the Lord has kept you back from honor. I mean, like, how many times does this guy just not understand anything? I mean, like, okay, oh, I wanted to bribe you to curse them, but God has held you back from this treasure bribe that I was going to give you because you won't curse who God wants to bless. And how many times has Balaam told Balak, I can only say what God gives me to say? Like, it wasn't sinking in, this guy, Oh my goodness. How can these people even be kings? It's amazing. Anyway, so Balaam said to Balak, did I not also speak to your messengers whom you sent to me, saying, if Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of the Lord to do good or bad of my own will? What the Lord says, that I must speak. And now, indeed, I am going to my people. Come, I will advise you what this people will do to your people in the latter days. Okay, so, all right, up until here, fine. But this is kind of weird, he sort of beckons at him. Come, I will advise you. Right, what does he want to advise him about now? All right. What this people will do to your people in the latter days. It doesn't mean the end times, it's just a little later, in this case. So, anyway, something happens later, but here we go. Okay. So he took up his oracle and said, the utterance of Balaam, the son of Beor, and the utterance of the man whose eyes are opened. The utterance of him who hears the words of God and has the knowledge of the Most High, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes wide open. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and batter the brow of Moab, and destroy all the sons of tumult. So here, let me see. This must be the one. There's, 17 all the way through 19 is a messianic prophecy here. So that's about Jesus. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also, his enemies, shall be a possession, while Israel does valiantly. Out of Jacob one shall have dominion and destroy the remains of the city. Okay, so there's that. Then he looked on Amalek, and he took up his oracle and said, Amalek was first among the nations, but shall be last until he perishes. Then he looked on the Kenites, and he took up his oracle and said, firm is your dwelling place, and your nest is set in the rock. Nevertheless, Cain shall be burned. How long until Ashur carries you away captive? Then he took up his oracle and said, alas, who shall live when God does this? But ships shall come from the coast of Cyprus, and they shall afflict Ashur and afflict Eber, and so shall Amalek until he perishes. So Balaam rose and departed and returned to his place. Balak also went his way. So, he does all this, and it is a pronouncing of a blessing on Israel and a curse on the enemies. It's almost like God's Spirit gets a hold of him and just kind of makes him do this because this is his will, God's will. But there's something that comes up later with Balaam, so that's coming up. It actually happens right in between this, okay? I'll read chapter 25, and then I'll get to the real secret behind all this. Okay, now Israel remained in Acacia Grove, and the people began to commit harlotry with the women of Moab. They invited the people to the sacrifices of their gods, and the people ate and bowed down to their gods. So Israel was joined to Baal of Peor, and the anger of the Lord was roused against Israel. Then the Lord said to Moses, take all the leaders of the people and hang the offenders before the Lord out in the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may turn away from Israel. Okay, so Moses said to the judges of Israel, every one of you kill his men who were joined to Baal of Peor. Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah. And indeed, one of the children of Israel came and presented to his brethren a Midianite woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Now when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand, and he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her body. So the plague was stopped among the children of Israel. And those who died in the plague were 24,000. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned back my wrath from the children of Israel, because he was zealous with my zeal among them, so that I did not consume the children of Israel in my zeal. Therefore say, behold, I give to him my covenant of peace, and it shall be to him and his descendants after him a covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God and made atonement for the children of Israel. Now the name of the Israelite who was killed with the Midianite woman was Zimri, the son of Salu, a leader of a father's house among the Simonites. And the name of the Midianite woman who was killed was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was head of the people of a father's house in Midian. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, harass the Midianites and attack them. Okay, here. For they harassed you with their schemes, by which they seduced you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a leader of Midian, their sister, who was killed in the day of the plague because of Peor. Okay, now here's what happened, and I'll get to some other Bible verses that connect to this, but here's what happened. Balaam apparently went and Balak couldn't curse them, okay, so because they were blessed, so it was like it wouldn't work. So apparently Balaam advised Balak and told him, okay, look, I can't curse them for you, but here's what you can do in order to get them cursed. Okay, the goal of Balak was to get them cursed so they wouldn't advance, and they would go the other direction, right? So he advises him how this can be done, and Balak took the advice, and that's what happened here. They set up a scheme, a trap, to ensnare them, and they fell for it. And it was in worshiping another god. And these guys got involved in that. Not everyone, but some of them got involved in that. And, that is when the curse was able to come upon them. And they started to, fall in this way. And that's when the wrath will reach them, right? So that's what's happening here. So that's how he advised him to be able to curse them. So that was his sin of Balaam, through the back door. And what happened is that, then this is how it works in the Christian life. So it's very important. It's a spiritual warfare tactic, and I want people to understand this. They were using the witchcraft against the people of God, right? It wasn't working. The curse wouldn't work. They want to curse you, but it won't work if you're walking upright with God. So the devil, the enemy, tries to get you to fall in some way, to get that to work, to be effective against you. Witchcraft, curses, all that stuff. That's the only way it will work, because then the protection is removed, because you're not being loyal to God, see? So they will try to get you to, in this case, it was worshiping another god. So it's false religion of any kind. It can be the occult. It can be a sin, and I don't mean a little white lie. I mean a serious sin, like fornication or adultery, anything like that. So that's how they get you. Okay, there's a reason why there's so much temptation to sin, and then the devil can, tempt you, and if you fall, then you're subject to this power of, black magic, to be cursed and all that. So that's why it's so critical that you stay on the right path. I mean, I'm always talking about staying in the right way and repenting if you're anywhere not near to that, okay? So it's hyper critical to do that. There's a reason, okay? And yes, you can fall away. So anyway, the whole thing isn't over yet. Now there's another thing here. So, and I wrote this note here: the enemy sees their advancement, tries to curse Israel, but can't curse them because they were blessed. So he tries to get them to sin so that the curse will take effect on them, will fall on them. That way they'll be cursed, and that's what happened, and it only worked for a while. You got them out of this, but that's the thing, and it's a spiritual warfare tactic. So people need to be aware of this. There are a couple of related verses here that connect, so I just want to get to that. Opened up right to it. Okay, Deuteronomy 23, 3-6. And I'm talking as fast as I can because I want to get this all in here. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. None of his descendants shall enter the assembly of the Lord forever, because they did not meet you with bread and water on the road when you came out of Egypt, and because they hired against you. See, Balaam, the son of Beor from Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse you. Okay, so this is a little insight into the plan. Nevertheless, the Lord your God would not listen to Balaam, but the Lord your God turned the curse into a blessing for you, because the Lord your God loves you. So you shall not seek their peace nor their prosperity all your days forever. Okay, so that is that little insight into that. And there's more. We have something over here all the way over in Revelation. I think that's the ending then, the last part of this. Oh, it's actually right here. Okay, Revelation 2, and it's verse 14. Okay, right here we have, so this is Jesus talking to John the Apostle on the island of Patmos, and this is the letters to the churches after he went to heaven later, just in case you don't know. Okay, but I have a few things against you. So this is to the church of Pergamos. Okay, a few things against you. So that happens, right? Because you have dared those who hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to put a stumbling block before the children of Israel. See, so we have the insight right here. Balaam taught Balak to put a stumbling block before the children of Israel, right? So they could be cursed, and that way he could get his money and run. See, so this whole thing is like that again, right? Anyway, to eat things sacrificed to idols and to commit sexual immorality, and that's what they did. And this was worshiping a false god in their sacrifice to idols as well, their feast. and sexual immorality. Okay, it all went together. So it's right in here. All right. And then other things, but okay, I went over this in my earlier videos. So anyway, that's it for the whole Balaam and Balak deal. I covered everything on my notes here. So, okay, so that's it. I mean, it's a spiritual warfare tactic, and that's why, you need to be so careful. And believe it or not, that kind of witchcraft stuff comes through from all kinds of directions, and one of them is through music, modern music, like, popular music, certain kinds, you know what I mean? And some is worse than others, but it will come through and it will attach if you are, in one of these spots. And if you're listening to that, you're in one of these spots. You're already vulnerable because you're already compromising. So it all works together. You need to walk in the right way, or else you're going to stumble and fall. And anyway, so that's that tactic of spiritual warfare. And let me tell you, it's alive and well out there today. You have to steer clear of things, or else you will fall victim to this. You will. So anyway, it's the end. They're coming from every angle and direction now. And I did make a series of videos on spiritual warfare. I think there are about 8 of them, but you can, I always say, go to the channel, click on the name of the channel, go look in the library, hit videos first, and then you can type in spiritual warfare by that little magnifying glass, or just scroll down till you find those about spiritual warfare, and you'll learn a lot of things that are kind of not very well known. Okay, so anyway, that's it for this video. I'll be right back and do another one on something different.